right, guys. Good morning. Let's talk about today. It is Money Monday. It is May 20th. So we got about 11 more days of May left. Now, I've been trying to grow this account the best I can over this next 11 days, and we didn't see too much action over the past week because that's when the whole China SPY thing was going on, and we were raising tariff rates. They were raising tariff rates. The SPY was dropping hard. So the penny stock world was a little bit slower. But this week, I'm definitely expecting a lot more action. I'm definitely expecting a lot more rips. I'm definitely expecting a lot more volume. And today, I did go 1-for-1 on my trading so far, and I was able to lock in a profit of what? $130. So I was able to make a profit of $130 right here. This was on CANF. I got in on the stock at 742. I got out of the stock at 765 and 755, which led to a total profit of $130. So, pretty happy with that trade. Not a bad way to kick off my week. Again, $130 profit in about 4-minute time frame, and that's not too shabby. Now, with that being said, was I looking for more? Yes, I was definitely looking for more, but I do want to dive into this play. I want to talk about why I got in on this. Where was the credibility behind it? Why did I pick the entry I did? Why did I pick the exit I did? What happened with CANF? Why is it not breaking out more right now? So let's break over absolutely everything. Let's go over absolutely everything, make sure we're all set. So first thing we have right here is CANF. CANF came out with a press release this morning at 7 a.m. It was a press release I actually saw at 7 a.m. And it says CANF phase 2 liver cancer data is selected for presentation at a leading liver cancer scientific forum. So we have here the International Liver Cancer Association annual conference has selected the CANF abstract for presentation. Phase 3 trial for namadosa and advanced liver cancer is now under preparation. And we also have right here, and I'm going to try to pronounce that again, has both fast track statuses and orphan drug designation for the US FDA. All right, so with that being said here, guys, what do I really like about this play? What do I like about this press release right away? Well, I do have a couple key words, right? Cancer. Cancer is a great 3-star word, right? Whenever we see the word cancer in a press release, we usually know that's going to bring in some sort of hype. Because usually when you bring up cancer, you're usually talking about the treatment of cancer. Usually saying, oh, we have, great treatment and we have great results, right? Something else we like to see, phase 2, right? So phase 2, that's a nice 2-star word. So we have phase 2, we have cancer, we're talking about data, right? So these are all very good things. Now, what's the thing that hurts it? The thing that hurts it is it's not saying, we have brand new phase 2 data that came out with yada, 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 right? They're saying we have phase 2 data, which is going to be presented, at this scientific forum coming up in the future. What else do I like about this play? I do like how this has this italics bold right here, right? We know whenever we see this italics bold, it's kind of like a little cheat sheet. When we see the italics bold underneath the title, we know that this is going to be one of the best press releases, right? We know that this is going to be one of the best rips, one of the best runs, right? What did we have last week? I believe it was OTLK, right? Let me see right here. OTLK. Where was this at? Oh, maybe it wasn't this one. Someone help me out. What was the stock last week that came out with? We went over this in a recap. Came out with a nice rip, nice run. Had the nice italics bold as well. If you guys can think of that one, I know for a fact BPTH, right? BPTH. This one went on a beautiful rip. This one went on a beautiful climb, right? That $70 rip and climb right here. And why was that? Well, again, this one came out with this press release back right here. Or what do we have? We have announced its clinical update on phase 2 trial, in leukemia that has to do with, cancer. And then we have this italics bold right here, right? So we have this italics bold right here. And then what happens? The stock goes on this beautiful climb, beautiful rip, right? We had one last week as well, which had the italics bold. And this is another one, today that we have CANF right here, where we have CANF came out with this press release right here. We have this italics bold. Because guess what? We are not going to see italics bold like this every single day, right? What do press releases usually look like, right? Press releases usually look like, let me go to here, right? They usually look like this, where you have your title and you have, a random press release underneath it. We usually have our title and all the information underneath it. We usually have our title and then all our information underneath it. You guys get your title and your information underneath it. It's a little bit different on CANF today, right? CANF right here, we have our title and then we have the italics bold underneath it. So again, just like I showed you guys on PPTH, that italics bold definitely, stands out. It makes it, sound like it's a lot more important. Just a little cheat sheet. It's not saying the italics bold makes it spike, but usually stocks that come out with good press releases have the italics bold with it. All right. So again, just a little cheat sheet for you guys for the near future. Now, with that being said, what else led to CNF going on a nice big spike? Probably the number one thing was just that 1 million in float, right? It's a stock with a good press release. And with that being said, it's 1 million in float. We know the float is the shares offered to the public. The lower the float, the higher the demand, the bigger the spike. So when we see a stock with a very low float of 1 million, we know, hey, there's not a very large supply. There's not a lot of shares offered to the public. So if a lot of people want to buy the stock, guess what? The stock will spike rapidly as the price increases, right? So CANF, this stock didn't really spike too hard at 7 o'clock if we look back in pre-market. But where did it all of a sudden start spiking really hard? Right around 9 o'clock, where all of a sudden it started getting a little bit of volume, and the thing went from $5 and spiked all the way up to highs around like 760. It was crazy, right? We saw a very big rip. We saw a very big spike, right in pre-market. The day opened up, it shot right up towards around 845 before coming back on down. So CNF, as we already know, is one of the lowest float stocks, is one of the most active stocks. CNF is a stock that has a lot of volume towards it and could easily become a top gainer today. Now, with that being said, it started falling back on down, came back on up, started falling back on down, came back on up, started falling back on down. Right around 8 o'clock, or right when the day opened up, it was extremely risky. It was an extremely risky play because every single time it came up to $8, it just crashed back down to 750, and $8 and 750, and $8 and 750, and $8 and all the way back down to $7, and then it ran all the way back up to $8, and then back down to $7, and then all the way up to $8, and then all the way back down to $7, and $7, and $7. And then it started running all the way back up to $8, and now it's currently at 760. So it hasn't been, again, the easiest play to get involved with. But with that being said, what can we notice? What's the pattern here? The pattern is $8, $7, $8, $7, $8, $7, $8 came back down to 720, $8, now it's at 760. So what do we usually notice? After the stock comes back down to $7, it usually at least runs back up to $8. We're not saying there's going to be any sort of giant breakout yet, but it usually goes through a spike up towards around the $8 mark. That's the pattern we see, right? If we, you could see any sort of pattern. Oh, that's all we're doing in looking at stock trading, guys, right? That's all we're doing looking at stock trading. If we see, let's say, this pattern, this is the pattern: square, square, circle, square, square, circle, square, square. What's the next one? What's going to be coming up next? Someone yells out, triangle. No. Again, what's going to be next, guys? It's going to be circle, right? That's the pattern. Square, square, circle, square, square, circle, square, square, circle, right? That's just a regular, normal pattern. Just apply that to stock trading. We hit $8, we come back down to $7. We hit $8, we go back down to $7. We hit $7, we go back to $8. $8 back down to $7. $7 back to $8. Right? That's all I'm doing. That's not anything too complicated, right? All we're doing is looking at this pattern. Square, square, circle, square, square, circle, square, square, circle, right? So CANF so far, what we established is it's a low float stock, had a good press release, got a very big time spike, which turned it into a top gainer in pre-market. The stock came on down, and now we established this pattern where we hit $7, we run to $8. We hit $8, we go back down to $7. We hit $7, we run back up to $8, right? And now the stock is looking for a possible break of $8 in the future. So where did I get in on this play? Let's talk about that now. Where did I get in on this play? Why did I get in on this play? Well, I didn't get in on this play until this area right here at 1042. That's when I got in on the stock. 1042 is where I bought in on this play, and that's on this break right here. Now, what's different about this break? Why didn't I buy in here or here or here or here or here? What's so neat about this break? This is where we broke back above the VWAP line. So notice, again, the stock starts getting held up at the VWAP here and here and here and here. What do we know? Break of the VWAP is where big time buying volume would have moved on in. And this is currently at what time? 7:42. And as always, just want to back up everything I say. You can see where I bought in right here is, again, at 10:42. Again, not 7:42, excuse me, 10:42. So I bought in right here at 10:42. Now, why did I buy in at 10:42? I bought in at 10:42 because I expected the VWAP to break right here. Well, Deck, why didn't you buy in at 1026? Why didn't you buy in at 1020? Why didn't you buy at 1034? Why 1042? What pattern is this? We have a U-shaped pattern right here. So all this right here at the start of the day, that's a little chaotic. That's a little crazy, right? That's a little chaotic. That one's a little crazy. That one's a little wild, right? Where we're just going down, up, down, up, down, up. You got to be really set for that. Wait for things to calm down a little bit, right? 10 o'clock, things are calming down. We form a nice U-shaped pattern. Nice U-shaped pattern right here. And if you guys can't see the U-shaped pattern, where is it at? Well, we have what? We run on up. We establish our top resistance right here, right? Stock U-shapes on down, comes on up. We get the breakout to the upside. We see that, right? Hit our resistance, come on up, break the U-shape. We go on a big time spike to the upside. That's all I was looking for. So again, and this is right around, around 11 o'clock. The stock hasn't spiked. Nothing else is spiking in the stock market for the penny stock world, right? So nothing else is spiking in the penny stock world. So it's not like people are looking at other plays really. CNF was the hottest play in pre-market and at the start of the day. It's a 1 million in float U-shaped pattern. It's been held up at the VWAP for the past little bit now. Has good volume towards it, starting to creep its way back on in. Guess what? I pulled the trigger for the VWAP break. And you say, well, Deck, the VWAP, at that time was around 750. I see you got in right here at 743. Because what was the biggest problem with this stock? What was the biggest issue with buying it on CANF? Was the spread, right? The biggest problem was the spread. And we could still look at CNF right now, and what can we see out of the spread? The bid is currently at 756. The ask is currently at 769. So if you market order in on CANF, where do you get filled? You get filled at 769, not at 756, right? You don't get filled where the bid is at. The bid is where people are willing to buy it. The ask is where people are willing to sell it. So if you market order on a CNF, a market order does what? It gets you filled immediately. How do you get filled immediately? Well, you currently take the current asking price. The asking price is 769. So guess what? This is what happened when this stock started coming back up to the VWAP. What do you think happened? Everyone started buying because we're getting the break of the VWAP. So imagine right now if everyone starts buying. Maybe one or two people take out 769. Then one person could take out 779, and then two or three people could take out 781, and then four or five people could take out 785. But notice how that stock just skips right on up. Just skips right on up really quick in a very quick manner. Look at that. Someone just bought in at 769. Someone's buying at 780. A little bit of crazy random volume right here. A little bit. And look at these are market orders going through. Market orders going through. The stock just went on like a 25-cent rip from, again, not really even that many shares because people are market ordering in on these plays. So if you bought in, let's say right around the VWAP area, and you're saying, Deck, I got filled at 760. I got filled at 770. I got filled at 775. How did you get filled at 742? How did you get filled at 742? I tried to buy, right when you bought, and I got filled at 775. There's a couple things you need to understand about this. Number one thing that you have to understand about this is what I bought right when the stock was about to break the VWAP, right? I bought right when the stock was about to break the VWAP because I know what? Once the stock comes up to the VWAP, that's where a ton of buyers move on in. And right when a ton of buyers move on in, everyone's competing to get that asking price. So imagine if you wait until 750, 755, you buy in at 750, 755. We have, let's say, a 9 to 10 cent spread, but guess what? We also have 15 to 20 other people buying at this area. You're competing with them to buy, to get this asking price. And let's say, there is 10 other people who buy before you, who maybe click that market order button 10 cents, or let's say, 1-2 seconds before you. Guess what happens? They're going to be getting filled. They get filled. Then you're the order after. Then someone's the order after that. And someone's the order after that. Right? So, buying at the VWAP is an absolute great strategy because we know that a ton of volume is going to be moving into this play. But what you also have to understand is that there's going to be a ton of other traders buying at the VWAP. So that's why I always look to try to get in right before the VWAP. So if you're like, oh, why didn't you get caught up in that giant spread? Because I bought in when there was only about a 10-cent spread, but the asking price was currently at 745. Once the VWAP broke, the asking price shot all the way up to 770. So I bought right before the stock broke the VWAP, and again, I'm not saying I got in 5-10 minutes early. The stock, spiked at 10:42. I got in at 10:42 in 37 seconds. What did I see? The stock was currently at 7:33. Then moved up to 7:35. Then moved up to 7:30 or 7:38. Then moved up to 7:42. Then 7:4, and then I was like, hey, I got to get in. So then I bought in. Then it broke the VWAP, and then breaking the VWAP is where tons of traders move on it. And with a stock that already has, a 5, 10, 20 cent spread, if you buy in an area that everyone wants to get in at, guess what? You could possibly be getting caught up at a different mark. So how can you resolve this? What's the best ways to resolve getting in on a big spread? There's a couple things you can do. If you want a market order in, like I do, buy right before the break of the VWAP. Buy right before the break of the resistance, because that's going to be an area where the spread isn't as big, right? What are we seeing right now? A lot of people are starting to want to get involved in this play. And that's why we're starting to see, 10-cent spreads, 7-cent spreads right here. You buy in right now, you're getting filled at 8.20, right? Right now, CNF is starting to break $8 finally. But this spread was just like 8.03 all the way up to 8.20. It's getting a little tighter right now. Oh, so now CNF is starting to rip. This is the spike I wanted to see. This is the spike I wanted to see. Look at the spread now. Notice that when the stock's breaking out, now we have what? It was just about a 12-cent spread. Now it's a 5-cent spread. Now it's a 1-cent spread. Now it's a 4-cent spread. Now it's pretty good. Now it's pretty calm right here. 1-cent spread, 6-cent spread. Well, if it starts breaking up to 8.50, watch how big the spread will be again. So right now we're at a 12-cent spread. 12-cent spread. Now we're back to 1-cent spread. But notice again, you have to be looking at this level 2. If you're not looking at the level 2 while trading and you're just looking at the candle over here, you're completely oblivious to how big the spread is. You're completely oblivious on where you're going to get filled at. You could be like, oh, the stock right now is currently at 8.30, 8.36, or something along those lines. But then you look at the ask, you could be getting filled so much higher, right? So you have to be aware of where the spread's at. So you need to buy right before the break of resistance and not get caught up in these massive spreads. And look at this. Here comes the $8 break. This is what I ultimately wanted, guys, right here, right? When I got in on this play, this is where I ultimately wanted to see the stock, go on this nice big breakout when I first got on in. As you could see, it's happening at 11:30. I got in looking for the 11 o'clock breakout. So I got in here hoping that this was going to happen here. It took about, another 30 to 40 minutes to consolidate before that's actually happening. Look at the spread, though. 8.45, 8.59. You might be like, oh, I'm buying it at 8.45. No, you're getting filled next to 8.60. So how do you get in on these plays? We either buy before the break of resistance because the spread's going to be a little smaller then, or what do? You put in a limit order, guys. You put in a limit order. Let's say you want to get filled on CNF. You want to get in on CNF, put a limit order at like 8.35. Put a limit order at 8.35. Put an order in, at 8.37. Right now, boom, you would have gotten filled. You're filled right now. You're filled right now at 8.35. You didn't have to chase all the way up to 8.60. You're currently at 8.35. Now you're up in profit. Now you're at 8.45. Now you're back at 8.35. Now you're at 8.42, 8.40, 8.30, 8.39, 8.42. But you're up in profit now, right? You don't have to market order, get filled at 8.45. Right now, you just got filled at 8.35. Currently, you're all the way up to 8.56. Now, if you want to, you can limit order out. Just put like an 8.52 order. You'll get filled right away. Boom, you just got filled, 8.52. So you could, if you're not in before the break, then do limit orders, right? So if there's a big stock, right? Big stock with a big spread. And the spread, we know when there's a lot of volume, we start seeing 10-cent spreads. We want to get in right before the break of resistance. So again, we get in right before the break of resistance if we want a market order. Now, if we want to get out on that play, again, you could market order, just limit order, or limit order. But if you want to buy after the break, just see where the stock is currently at, and then put a limit order maybe 15 cents lower, because the stock has a 5 to 10 cent spread. That means only 2 orders have to go through, and you'll get filled. You might be like, oh, 15 cents, it may not come back down towards that area. That's 2 orders, right? That's just someone selling maybe 1,000 to 2,000 shares. It would come right back down to it because it has 15 cent spread already, right? So if you're wondering, okay, I bought, let's say a few seconds after Dek bought, why did I get filled 20 cents higher? Because I bought right before the break of resistance, and you may have bought right when it broke resistance, where there's a whole world of traders all buying at resistance, and people are getting filled before you with a 20-cent spread already. You're getting up much higher. So if you look at your platform and you say, okay, I pressed market order buy at the break of, let's say, 750, 755. Why did I get filled at 765, 770? Because not only does it have a big spread already, but you also bought at the break of resistance, where we know what is where there's a lot of big time buyers. So if you're saying, how did I get filled at 742 when me and you bought almost at the same exact time, is I bought right before the break of resistance, because at the break of resistance is where more buyers come on in, where also the spread's going to get larger, just like you guys can see right here, right? How did I get out? I saw the stock coming back on down, and I just market ordered out just because I want to keep my profit. The main thing I was looking for, though, is what? Is this spike, but to happen here. So the main thing I was looking for is this spike, but to happen here. But I just wanted to go over this play just so everyone can understand again why I got in on this. Low float, previous top gainer from this morning, good chart setup, good volume. Why else? The stock was again forming a U-shaped pattern. Nothing else is breaking out today, so a lot of traders are going to look back at the number one top gainer in the morning. And why else? The stock was looking for that VWAP break. The VWAP break, low float, good press release, decent volume moving back on in. I want to see a nice spike on the stock. The stock also has room to run all the way up towards around 1036, which is its 50-day moving average. The stock, breaking $8 where it couldn't break for the past 4 to 5 times. The break of $8 is going to bring in, a nice at least 50-cent climb, which it's doing right now, and I think it could do even more coming on up. So CNF, nice play, nice spike so far, nice rip. I just always want to go over credibility on why it's spiking, why I hopped in on it, why I got in at the area I did, and why I got out at the area I did. Right? So everything I do, I'm always going to be transparent and I'm always going to be credible. I'm never going to buy a stock and just be like, and have 500 people say, Deck, why are you getting in on this? And I just say, yeah, just because I want to. Is that credible? Does that teach you anything? Is that any sort of education? No, not at all. Right? There's no sort of education behind that whatsoever. And that's what some people do. It's like, all right, I'm buying in on stock XYZ. Why? It's just like, just buy it, buy it, buy it. I'll tell you later. No, again, that's not it. That's not what I ever want to do. Right? Every trade I get into, if you guys are getting into it, I want you guys to be making money. If you guys aren't getting into it, I want you guys to take it as an educational, right? Educational experience, an educational lesson, right? Why is Deck getting in on this play right now? How did he make money? What did he do? What did I do differently? What could I do to improve? Did I beat him? Did I make more money than him? Right? So that's the most important thing that you guys always want to understand. So what we have right here, CNF, nice, nice run, nice rip. We were a little bit early. We were a little bit early to the game, which is okay, right? It's not bad to be early, but CNF, is doing that nice big spike, a nice big rip that we're currently seeing now. Over in profits, chat, some nice profits, 130 bucks, 350, 52, 35, 150, 645, 130, 50, making to in at 748, out at 780, 163 for BRAD, quick profit, 70 bucks. So we're not seeing like Ferrari money. We're not seeing, 1,200 bucks, 1,500 bucks, anything along those lines. 10,000 bucks, but a couple $100 a day, hey, keeps the normal 9 to 5 away. So that's what I like to say. All right, Deck, that's enough. So also a little sign as I showed earlier, Michael had a nice trade on OTLK. He sent me a screenshot over on Trade Zero. He was able to make $1,147 over on OTLK right here. So again, shout out to Michael for that. But right now, CNF, number one play you still want to focus on, break of $8. Finally start getting that nice rip and run. Got this nice higher low pattern. We were in a little bit early. Happy the stock, ran up and broke through that 850 mark. A little bit of a bull flag right now. Your ultimate sell target is all the way up towards around 1036. We'll see what we have coming up. The small account still growing. I'm currently above $6,000, which is absolutely great. So I'm over the $6,000 mark. Still got to get to my goal of $10,000 to start with. I'm just really looking for that big trade, right? That's all I'm looking for. And that big trade's coming. I've just been locking in like 100, 200, 500. Had one nice gain of 1,000, but I haven't been able to get that big money making, gains yet. But I mean, if I keep this up 200, 300, 100, 200, I mean, the count's going to grow regardless. It's just going to take longer than expected. But once I can get 1,000, 2,000, 1,500, 2,000, 1,200, 800, and get into those profits, it'll be a lot quicker. But hey, regardless, the account's growing. Regardless, I'm teaching you guys how to be a self-sufficient trader, showing you guys the proper way to trade and grow a small account. But with that being said, right now I am, locking in some small gains just because, again, if I kept holding, I would have ended up taking a loss. don't want to do that. So CNF, not a bad play, good play, nice rip right now. A little early to the party, but hey, profit's profit. I'll take it.